Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you like the channel and you'd like to see it grow, please like and subscribe, as it really would help if I get some more subscribers. It'll allow me to review some really cool watches like what we have in front of us here. This is one of the brand new Ball HydroCarbon range of watches. This is an EDO, and to be fair, it is an absolute beast of a watch. It's one of these not for the faint-hearted. I think you need some big old wrists to carry this one off, because it is quite a beastie, as you can tell from these pictures here. And also, when it comes to actual mismarketing of dimensions, this one is right up there. But to be fair, this company is not alone. There are many others which are like this. But anyway, before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. They are so helpful to me. They give me all very cool watches to review, and they've got such a range of watches. Well worth popping into their Kenilworth office. If you're, can't make it a bit too far afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description and at the bottom of the page. Now, all I ask is that you do mention the channel. So anyway, let's talk sizes. Now, it says 42mm, but I'm actually reading 42.8. Now, the thickness, I think it says 13.7, but I read across the top here, the thickest point of the watch. What was it coming out at? It was 14.9. So a massive discrepancy with what they are actually saying. And a lot of reviewers just take it for granted. They never actually measure the watch. So you may see all the reviewers saying, yep, it was that size, especially the written ones. But unless they actually test, you don't know. The lug to lug on this beast is 53mm, and the bracelet size is 21mm. Now, the dial. The dial is, kind of typical for Ball. You get these kind of the numerals made out of the tritium gas tubes, even. Let's spit it out. And what the advantage of this is, basically, where a normal lume on the watch requires UV light to actually really, pick up, and what it does, it stores some of that brightness, that light, and then slowly emits it back to you. Well, this is glowing all the time. So I can't remember exactly how many tubes, like 28 tubes, I can't remember exactly, of these gas tubes are placed all around, even on the hands themselves. And so they are constantly emitting a light, because they are technically tritium and radioactive. So you should get a good 20 years out of these before they actually start to really die down there. But they do look really good. But also it's complemented with standard luminova. So the whole watch, the bezel and everything all lights up, and it really does look good. So even after the luminova, the standard lume has died down, these tritium tubes will carry on glowing, and that's what makes it kind of cool with this brand. Now, as you can see, we've got the standard minute track there. We do have quite a bit of script going on around here. I'm not always a big fan of all the script. It does look something like a start of a Star Wars movie, but overall it still looks good. We do have the Cyclops to help magnify the date over at the 3 o'clock position there. It's one of those where I think it would almost look better if it had a black background and they did the number in this kind of, sort of like vintage look white, if that makes sense. I think that would look better rather than being stark white over here. Let me know, in the comments below if you agree with that one. So anyway, nice kind of red tip going on in the second hand there. Overall, it's your kind of, big and bold dial you get from Ball. I do like the way they have the railway symbol over there, because obviously that's where Ball really started from, when they needed a chronometer for the actual American railway service. So that's where they got the name, and obviously the term "get on the ball" actually originally comes from, and it's not from, as many of us over here in the UK would think it's from football or soccer, as you guys in America call it. But no, it is actually from these guys. Now, the actual crystal on here is a sapphire crystal. I don't know if there really is that, but I was struggling with the AR on here, because it could be only on the inside, I'm not sure, but it isn't the best when it comes to reflections. when I was taking pictures of this outside, I was struggling a little bit. It was picking up a heck of a lot of reflections, but it is what it is. The actual bezel, let's have a listen. Very, very snappy. Definitely sounds like 120 click. Back play. A little bit. But to be fair, that is a very, very positive bezel. Let's see if it lines up. Yes, it does. And you kind of, it sculpts down a little bit towards the actual crystal there. We do have this raised pip here, which I believe houses a gas tritium tube behind there. So you know this will always be illuminated, which is obviously the advantage. Now, when it comes to grasping the actual bezel, you can see we've got some nice coin edge going on there. Makes it incredibly easy. Now, the actual case of the watch. Now, you may think this would be an incredibly heavy watch, but it actually isn't, because it is titanium. Now, it's one of those where, you know, it's definitely, you know, I would say it's still not light, being because there is quite a lot of titanium actually in there, but it does look quite good. You've got vertical brushwork going on there. You've got a little bit of polishing going around on the edges, which comes around nicely onto the lugs. You can see the actual, they're not spring bars in here, they are screws. So as it comes around, it is quite nice. Now, the big thing on this is obviously that crown guard. Now, how this actually works, you unscrew this, and then he says, okay, will it come off? You unscrew it and it should, there you go, and it will pop off there. So it is, you know, not for me, it's a little bit gimmicky, this one. It's not like a Panerai one, which is easy to get to, because once you do get to this, it is incredibly fiddly to wind it. So to actually set the time, you do still pull it out like that, as you can hear. Oh, that's date set. And then you can move the hands round. It's a little bit fussy. Screw that back in, but it definitely looks the part anyway, so it's one of these. I should point out this is a 300-meter diver on here. Now, as we come past that, we've got this kind of nice sculpted case back on there. Underneath there is an ETA 2892 movement. Now, this is a chronometer spec movement. So when I put this on the time grapher, it was doing really well. The only problem I was having, it was really hard to get a reading off the time grapher. Because of the microphone position on there, I was struggling to kind of, yeah, but how a time grapher works, it listens for the ticking, and it couldn't really get it through this titanium case, and it's obviously quite big, and the movement in theory is quite small in the back of there. So I had to turn it round on its back and hold it that way. That was the only way I could get a true reading. So all the other readings were all over the place and incredibly high, to be fair. Now, being a chronometer spec, obviously, it's, you know, you're going to be a good good readings. I think this was around about 3.5 seconds or 3 seconds. So it was doing perfectly well. It was doing a really good job. Now, I couldn't tell. I presume, I've seen reports saying he's only had 42 hours of power reserve, but all the newer ETA 2892s should have 56 hours of power. Now, to be fair, I should have really tested this and just wound it up fully and then left it to settle, but I would expect to see 56 hours of power reserve. And overall, the movement is exceptional. You've got no problems with it. Now, it goes on, but it's in a Faraday cage, so you should have 1,000 Gauss protection on this. And it also raves on about its 5000 G shock protection and things like a spring lock, and it can survive a 12-meter, 10-meter fall. I'm not really sure how they do that, because after all, it is an ETA movement used in other watches, but it would be intriguing to see what do they do that makes it different. I would be intrigued, because I've heard the same with Bremont, and when I actually spoke to one of the head technicians at Bremont, they said, no, we do nothing, we just put it in the back. So it would be intriguing. Maybe I test it a different way, and that's how. Now, anyway, as we come past that, the bracelet is quite funky. Now, you do have this kind of interesting back on this. Now, it's a butterfly style, so as we release this, one thing I would say is you've got a actual diver's extension on each side of it, so it's a bit strange kind of and funky how they do it. So, but micro adjustment, you have one on each side. And to be fair, I normally find that's enough, but you also have half links here, so you can actually take out a few of these half links if you want. And let's face it, it is all big and bold, isn't it? It's kind of really, really chunky, but it's kind of cool. As it folds over, you have the actual script on there. If I put this on my wrist, see how it looks, quick wrist check. I'm wearing my Breitling Colt, which is, I love this. It's my favourite Breitling for sure. Bob has got a limited edition Squale on there, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Now, to put this on, you've always got to make sure you get this side first, because there's a fold over piece here. And as you can see, goes there. Now, you have got plenty of room, which is good. This will accommodate a big old wrist size on here, and that's it on my wrist. To be fair, it's a big watch. There's no getting around it, but it doesn't look too kind of massive, if that makes sense. It does sit down on the wrist quite well, actually. Overall, it's a bit funky, bit different. Not sure if I'd go for one, but let me know in the comments below if you guys would. Anyway, all the best, and most importantly, stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.